Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Summer heat and humidity is returning. We're going to have a chance of showers and thunderstorms later today. I'll walk you through that. And then a tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa could quickly become a tropical system. We'll talk about where it could be headed.
Sinkhole shutdown. Today we expect the timeline for repairs in this apex road here to come into sharper focus.
And autopsy questions. The reasons Florida investigators are not ready to definitively say that they've located a missing 18-year-old from Viewquay Varina, a body found in a pond. It is 6 o'clock here on your Monday morning. Good morning, everyone. Good to be back with you. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, welcome back. Nice week off.
Thank you. Yes, visited family and friends in Michigan, and just weather was lovely there. Yeah, what I miss here.
Nothing. I mean, the rain wouldn't let up, so
I saw, yeah.
It looked pretty cool where you were. I mean, cooler
yeah, we went
temperatures.
To the western part, like Michigan is,
Dunes.
like this, yeah. And
Yeah.
then, we were up here in Traverse City. Lake Michigan and Traverse Bay and waterfront. Yeah.
It is great to have you back.
It was wonderful. Thank you. Missed you all, though.
Elizabeth Gardner in the WR Severe Weather Center right now can tell you that we got inundated with rain last week.
Ooh, we did. Yeah, it was something else. Unfortunately, we dried out for the weekend, and I think people had the opportunity to get outside and enjoy a nice weekend. Right now, we're looking at our flow coming out of the south. That means more humidity today, and that's going to linger for much of the week. Currently, we're seeing just a sprinkle there in Moore County, but no other rain. I don't think you're going to have to deal with much rain during the morning commute, but more of that is coming. It'll mostly move up from the south as we get through the day today. About a 40% chance this morning and a 60% chance late this afternoon and evening. We do have a low risk for flooding for today. Any rain that starts today is likely to be fairly heavy, but the coverage isn't likely to be great. This is a live look at North Hills. We are starting off with cloudy skies, but our dew points jumped all the way to 72. That puts us in the tropical zone. 73 is our temperature, but our temperatures are not going to warm up that much today. With the cloud cover, we're going to hold it in the low 80s. So we continue our below normal trend that we've seen for August. And again, we'll have a chance of late day storms. Watching very closely, a wave that's coming off the coast of Africa. This one has a good chance to develop in the next several days. It's a 90% chance in the next week, but it is way out in the Atlantic right now. We're going to take a look at the tropical models. These are the hurricane models, and they do bring it westward, but it's still way too early to have any idea about whether or not it will impact land. But we'll talk about what we do know coming up. Ken?
Yeah, my family at the Virgin Islands is very relieved by that track so far. Hey, let's go outside, give you a live look at I-40 and US 70. Traffic is beginning to pick up just a little bit, but flowing nicely in all directions. As we widen out the view, give you a look at the entire stretch of I-540 from Lewisburg Road all the way over the I-40, completely delay-free. And that's really what we're seeing on many of the major routes into the capital city. No delays whatsoever. And we're seeing the same thing if you're heading into the Bull City. All those major highways delay-free right now. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
We're following breaking news this morning. Durham crews were at the scene of a townhome fire. This happened on Riverwalk Terrace near North Roxborough Street. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there on scene earlier this morning. Durham Fire says crews put the fire out quickly when they got there. The person living there was cooking at the time. The fire department says the person won't be able to stay in the townhome, but does have family in the area. Nobody was hurt. Today, we expect to get a clearer view of what it will take to repair a huge sinkhole that has shut down a road in Apex. Olive Chapel Road collapsed from flash flooding last week. An update is expected to come later today from the DOT. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live now in Apex as town leaders are preparing for a repair process that could take months. Kelsey, good morning. Yes, Renee, good morning. And right now we're working to get a timeline on when NCDOT could provide an update later today. But you can see that huge sinkhole here. We've been staying on top of the repair process here on Olive Chapel Road since the sinkhole formed last week. You can take a closer look at it in this video. NCDOT says a failed drain pipe that was already scheduled to be replaced is what caused this. Apex Town Council member Terry Mahaffey says he's hoping they can temporarily open this part of the street. Drivers are now forced to use nearby neighborhoods as detours. Mahaffey explains the impact of last week's storm.
This event was massive. It was measured as over a 200-year event in Apex. And that means when so much water is falling so quickly, whether it's pre-development, post-development, the water can't be absorbed fast enough.
NCDOT says they have plans to reopen the road in late November, but this process could take much longer. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, I'm in Apex.
More tests are needed to be completed before Florida authorities are certain a body found this weekend belongs to a missing Fuquay-Varina man. Family members say Giovanni Pelletier was visiting family in Orlando when he vanished. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here now with what we're learning about this investigation. Michelle.
Yeah, Jeff, the Manatee County Sheriff says the medical examiner needs to do more tests to confirm the body found in a retention pond is Giovanni Pelletier. The sheriff says the medical examiner's preliminary autopsy did not notice any visible signs of foul play or trauma. The retention pond where the body was found is just off the interstate south of the Tampa-St. Pete area. Deputies responded to the pond on Friday after family members found the body near the edge of the water. They believe it was there for a few days because the sheriff says law enforcement did previously search the same area. Pelletier was last seen August 1st in Mims, Florida. A family member told us the same day he texted his mother with 2 words, "Mom, help." It's not clear what happened after that. Additional tests, including a toxicology test, are being done to determine the identity of the person who was found and the cause of death.
The search for Cumberland County's next sheriff comes to a head this morning. Commissioners will meet at 9 a.m. to choose a successor to Sheriff Ennis Wright. He retired in June after nearly 30 years of service. Wright made history as the county's first African-American sheriff. Applicants who submitted materials by the deadline early last week will have a chance to speak in front of the board at the courthouse. The appointment will fill the remainder of Wright's term.
Happening this morning in Johnston County, a resource for people in the process of trying to get their passports. WRAL's Laura Levine is live in Clayton, where this event is happening today. Laura, there will be several things that people will be able to get done at this event.
Renee, good morning. Officials say the demand is high for passport applications across our state, and we're already beginning to see that here at Cleveland High School. Taking a look online, there is no availability on this date, meaning no appointments available for this fair, aimed at really making this process more convenient for people in this area. So the Department of State is holding special passport acceptance fairs more frequently across the state. These events are designed for first-time passport holders to get a passport book and or a passport card, which are both Real ID compliant. So if you're not able to get an appointment at the DMV to get a Real ID for upcoming travel, a passport is an alternative. Getting a passport for travel instead of Real ID helps alleviate some of the long lines and backlog that we are seeing at the DMV. And the fair at Cleveland High School is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And right now, we are working to learn if more appointments will become available today. Meanwhile, another fair will take place in our area tomorrow. That's going to be at Franklinton Elementary School tomorrow afternoon. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
New this morning, a traffic alert that could impact your travels in the evening. In Orange County, the DOT will be closing the on-ramp to I-40 East from New Hope Church Road. The ramp will be closed for the next 3 nights from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. A detour will be posted.
State Highway Patrol is investigating after a person was hit and killed on Interstate 95. Troopers say it happened near Benson early yesterday morning. The person was hit by a commercial vehicle driver, and the driver is not facing charges in this. The name of the person who died has not been released. We're working to learn why that person who was hit was walking on the interstate in the first place. A woman faces several charges after a motorcyclist died in a crash in Raleigh. Police say 41-year-old Cynthia Lucas was driving on Yonkers Road Saturday night when she turned in front of that motorcyclist. The rider was 55-year-old Lewin Stewart Jr. That crash caused him to die at the scene, and police say Lucas told them she didn't see the motorcycle. Lucas is charged with failure to yield, unsafe movement, and misdemeanor death by vehicle.
Students in our viewing area are heading back to the classroom this week. Today is the first day of class for students in Granville County, as well as middle school and high school students in Warren County. Nash County Schools will have its first day tomorrow, and Clinton City Schools will also start today. We certainly hope all the kids have a great first day. WRAL has all the latest on the back to school season on our website. Just head to WRAL.com and search Back to School. 6:09 on your Monday morning. Keeping his promise, a comedian makes an appearance at a Charlotte event less than 24 hours after being shot. The motivation that kept him from canceling.
Plus, a crash course in defensive driving, the program that gives new drivers a unique experience behind the wheel.
And our weather pattern is evolving. We're back to more moisture in the atmosphere. That means a better chance for showers and thunderstorms, especially this afternoon and evening. We'll talk about who has the chance for flooding.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, live look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. Pretty quiet right now, but definitely a pattern change that you may notice. It's feeling a bit more muggy today. We're seeing our flow coming out of the south, so bringing more tropical moisture in. We have a 40% chance of rain mid to late morning, and late this afternoon and evening, it's a 60% chance. Any storms that develop are likely to produce some heavy rain, so we do have a low risk for flooding today. It's cloudy out there. I'll tell you, this is a live look at North Hills. Temperatures are in the low to mid 70s, so a little bit warmer and a little bit muggier than we were seeing last week. As a matter of fact, our muggy meter is sitting up there at tropical now, and it was a pretty comfortable weekend. So changing things up again. With the cloud cover, it does stay cool. Walking the dog even this afternoon will feel comfortable in the low 80s, but we'll be watching for those scattered storms to develop. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WR Traffic Center. Here's a live look at I-40 and Airport Boulevard. You know, it's Monday, so we have some business travelers out there. Maybe you're thinking about taking a late summer vacation. You're getting ready to head to the airport. We've checked all the routes for you. All the routes into RDO International this morning completely delay-free, so you will get to the airport on time. As we widen out the view for a live traffic map, this crash just happened down there in Garner. Coming up in less than 5 minutes, I'll isolate it and let you know if it's going to affect your morning commute. But you're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Time is 6:14 here in the WRAL Live Center. I'm showing you some video from overnight, and this is in Gaza. And what you're seeing is the aftermath of an airstrike that killed at least 7 people, including journalists. One of those journalists was a high-profile journalist with the publication Al Jazeera. Israel accused him of leading a Hamas cell, which he previously denied. He was in a tent with other journalists near the entrance of a hospital when that airstrike killed all those people.
Investigators are getting a clearer picture of the man who opened fire outside of the CDC headquarters in Atlanta, killing a police officer. A neighbor tells NBC News the suspected shooter, Patrick White, had expressed anti-vaccine ideas and blamed the COVID vaccine for making him sick. An anonymous law enforcement official says the shooter blamed the vaccine for making him depressed and suicidal. That same official also says he tried to get into the headquarters but was stopped by security. And that is when police say he went to a pharmacy across the street and started shooting. 33-year-old DeKalb County police officer David Rose was killed while responding to the shooting.
Police in Puerto Rico say a tourist from New York was killed in a shooting. Police say that shooting happened yesterday morning outside a nightclub in a seaside neighborhood near Old San Juan. They say it started when an argument broke out between several people, and at least 3 people were shot. 2 are in the hospital. The 25-year-old victim has been described as an innocent bystander. He was in Puerto Rico to attend a Bad Bunny concert. So far, no arrests have been made.
A Memphis comedian says he is not slowing down after being shot in Charlotte over the weekend. Entertainer Mario Grove Hero Bradley was one of 3 people injured in a shooting at a Charlotte shopping center Saturday night. Bradley posted on social media he was shot in the spine and could not walk. That did not stop him from attending a community event that he sponsored the next day at the same location. People at the event say they were surprised to see him there.
It says that, you definitely have to have perseverance. And even when things happen to you, you just can't give up. And I was shocked to see that he still came out the next day.
Definitely not giving up. Bradley says he continues to continue his current tour. He expects to be better and walking again in a couple of weeks. Police are still investigating the shooting. Nobody is in custody at this time.
With the new school year getting underway across our viewing area, a unique driving course is giving teens a chance to get hands-on practice in emergencies. The Brakes Teen Defensive Driving Program allows students to apply what they learned in driver's ed on a controlled course. Teens were out at State Highway Patrol Training Center in Raleigh this weekend to practice steering out of skids and to overcome distracted driving. With every student passing this program, Brakes says these young drivers are 64% less likely to have a car crash in their first 3 years behind the wheel.
Not a substitute for driver's education, but it fills the gap in what these student drivers should do in an emergency situation.
I feel like most teens should be learning this because, you can't rely on the other person to already know something you don't know.
And more than 12,000 teen car crashes were reported in our state last summer, according to the North Carolina Department of Transportation. The next Brakes program in Raleigh is scheduled for October. And they fill up quickly, so jump in on that. 6:18 is the time right now. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We both have young drivers, Elizabeth, and all of them have been through that course.
Yes, yeah. My son and I just did it just a couple months ago, as a matter of fact. And it highly recommend. You do have to be on it. It spills up very fast, as Jeff said, but well worth it. Just a wonderful program. Dual Doppler 5000 radar, pretty quiet right now. Couple sprinkles here in the Sandhills. Hope County seeing a sprinkle or two. Moore County seeing a sprinkle. We do have some change in the weather pattern. Our flow is now coming out of the south, so it's going to have a different feel than what we saw over the weekend when we had some nice dry air in place and low humidity. Notice as we get through the morning hours, a sprinkle or two, but there's not going to be a whole lot of rain out there. Now, mid to late afternoon, we start to see a few cells developing. Any of these cells that pop up over you are likely to produce some very heavy rain. So we do have a low risk for flooding just because we're going to see some downpours with these cells that pop up later on today. You can see that low risk across our viewing area. It's medium risk closer to the coast, but our entire viewing area is under that low risk. That just means that those heavy downpours could produce a lot of ponding on the road, could make for some messy conditions during the evening commute and through the evening. 60% chance of rain today, 50 tomorrow, and then 40 to 50 all the way through the end of the week. So definitely in a bit of a wetter pattern out there. We're also watching the tropics very closely. We have a 90% chance of a wave moving off of Africa, developing into a tropical system. And there's been a lot of chatter with this on social media. At this point, it is way too early to say whether or not this is going to affect land, affect North Carolina. A lot of people are, really talking about, this potentially producing some danger for us. It's just absolutely too early to tell. You can see this system just moving off the coast of Africa. It's about 3,500 miles away from North Carolina. So again, so many things will happen to this. There are a lot of things in the atmosphere that will impact this, and just, again, way too early to tell. But it certainly could become a tropical depression in the next few days, and then a tropical storm. And there's a possibility that it becomes our first hurricane. But reliably, our models go out. They are in good agreement all the way out to about the middle of the Atlantic in the next 7 days. But what happens beyond that is way too early to tell. Again, about 3,400 miles away from North Carolina. That's not saying it's headed to North Carolina. I'm just showing you how far away it is from us right now. What's closer to us is some summer heat. We get back into the 90s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. More high heat index. We could be back into the triple digits. I'll show you what it'll feel like coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, this crash down in Garner happened just a few minutes ago in Garner and Jones Sausage Road. We're not seeing any delays in the area, so that's good news for those of you using Jones Sausage Road. This crash also just happened on Glenwood Avenue near Lynn Road. That's usually a busy route at this time of the morning, but we're not seeing any delays whatsoever. Similarly, no delays to report on any of the major routes coming into the capital city, and we're seeing all the major highways into the Bull City delay-free as well. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. We'll always keep you updated.
Lost luggage rights. You probably know you're owed more than just an apology. 5 on your sides, Keely Arthur shows you the money-saving rights every traveler should know. And older than Earth, scientists are learning more about a meteor that crashed into a Georgia home this summer. A look into the discovery more than 4 billion years in the making.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Spider-Man's return and history on the baseball diamond.
Ken Smith here now with what's trending on our Monday morning, Ken.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee, let's start on the big screen. Actor Tom Holland back to work on the new Spider-Man movie. Sony releasing video of Holland on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah, and they're filming in Scotland right now, so very interesting. But this is the fourth installment of this Spider-Man series. Film is set to hit theaters in July of next year. We got to wait a while.
Yeah.
Mixing it up with the fans.
I love it. So, diamonds are a girl's best friend. And in this case, Major League umpire Jen Powell, for sure, making history on the baseball diamond. Sunday in Atlanta, she became the first woman to call a Major League game behind the plate. The day before, she made MLB debut in the field during that Braves homestand against the Marlins.
Yeah, so they rotate their crews around. When you get behind the plate, though, that's
big
a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And, the Durham Bulls sent out a note last week congratulating her because she umpired some games for the Bulls in 2023 and 24.
Awesome. A true trailblazer. Ken, thank you. A school supply drive in South Carolina got an extra special donation ahead of the new school year. Inmates from Perry Correctional Institution just outside of Greenville put together a $500 donation to the United Way School Tools Drive. It's to help local students with school supplies. The warden says the men got the idea to pool their money together from the funds that they have. United Way CEO Megan Barp talked about what this means.
I think that the men who are incarcerated at Perry Correctional maybe have some lived experience on their own need and their own journey as students in our community, and felt very compelled to do their part to make sure that students who are just like them in that K-12 system may need that extra support.
The contributions from the inmates will affect over 3,000 local students who benefited from this year's drive.
This year's Clear the Shelters campaign is happening right now. The event is part of a nationwide effort to get pets out of the shelters and into homes. Shelters across the state are participating, including Connie's Kittens. The Clear the Shelters campaign ends August 31st. Sinkhole solutions, road closed and drivers detoured. But for how long? Ahead, the next steps in making repairs to the Apex Road that was badly damaged by flash flooding.
And waiting for answers. The body of a Fuquay-Varina man who disappeared while visiting family in Florida may have been found. Coming up, why investigators are not ready to make that conclusion.
And after a pretty comfortable and dry weekend, we're back to a wetter pattern. We'll talk about when we're going to see the heaviest rain this week coming up.